On. Well, I've only had it on for about an hour, but yeah. Right, so yes, today is Sunday. Had a wonderful day with my family and friends, which was lovely. We did go to a cafe in our area. Very popular cafe, was very nice. Had some wonderful conversations with fellow truth seekers and freedom fighters, or freedom lovers, if you like. I thought I had turned my phone on to silent, but anyway. So when we were at this cafe today, of course, they have the obligatory mainstream kitty litter newspapers there for all of the patrons to read. Of course, when I see them, I just think of popping them in the bottom of a kitty litter box. But as we were leaving the cafe, I did see a newspaper that was open on a table, and an article with huge headline was looking up at me. And so I did bring that page home with me today because I wanted to show everybody this article. Now, it is from the Sunday Times. Of course, today is Sunday, the 29th of January. I'm going to show you the article. I have some regalia here today. I did bring this piece of paper home with me. The rest of the paper, I was disgusted and I chucked it down on the table upside down. Should have just put it in the bin. Anyway, I did bring this home with me. I will show it to you. So this is the article that I took out of the paper. And so the headline is "Anti-Vaxxers are real dropkicks." This is from today, Sunday, the 29th of January. And this article is written by BENO'SHEA. Now, I don't know who this person is because I don't pay attention to mainstream media. So I did have to look up this person's bio. Apparently, he is a senior reporter for the West Australian. He has a podcast called West Live. He's a film critic. Love a good film critic. And what else? There's something else here. And some rather sort of involvement with, of course, the West Australian and 96 FM. That is a radio station here, more kitty litter entertainment. So this article was written by BENO'SHEA. So as we see, the headline, "Anti-Vaxxers are real dropkicks." And the up here it says, "The big social media platforms have allowed this kind of idiocy to fester." Now, I wonder what kind of idiocy he's referring to. And so this article is about this person here. This person's name is, he's an NFL star, Damar Hamlin. Now, I don't know who that person is, and I think that's really important to note because, as we'll see with reading this article, I don't think all of the people who have come across this article today in the newspaper will know who this person is. The point of looking at this is that even though these people don't know who this person is, this NFL star, they are reading this tripe. They are reading this narrative that the mainstream media are peddling, the narrative that they are paid to peddle. So I'm going to read you just the start and the finish of the article, and we'll just go through that together because it really is quite entertaining. Right, so let's start off here. And so anti-vaxxers, real drop kicks, and then it says, "They want you to think that this star is dead." So just first off, trying to get people to think that anti-vaxxers are crazy people. Now, let's just think about this term anti-vaxxer. Now, here in Australia, even if you're badgered up to the eyeballs, but you didn't want to have the COVID-19 badge, you were then termed an anti-vaxxer. It's funny, isn't it? So this term here sort of covers a huge range of people. But anyway, So I will read the first little part. So it says, the following column will not label anti-vaxxers as idiots, mostly because anti-vaxxer idiot is a tautology and journalists are taught to avoid them. Now, what's a tautology? That's when you use two words in a sentence that mean the same thing. So, for example, you might say, the teacher gave me assistance by helping me to. So, assistance and helping me, same thing. Another example of a tautology is, I apologise because I'm sorry that blah, 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 blah. So, I apologise because I'm sorry, using two words to mean the same thing. And so let's just read that again, shall we? The following column will not label anti-vaxxers as idiots, mostly because anti-vaxxer idiot is a tautology. So he's saying that anti-vaxxer and idiot are the same meaning. They're interchangeable. And notes that journalists are taught to avoid using them. So already out of the gate, BENO'SHEA is saying that anti-vaxxers are idiots. Hey? What a man he is. Okay, so to be honest, I'd like to avoid anti-vaxxers too. Would you now, Ben? But that's proving to be a lot harder ever since COVID-19 saw the exponential increase of what was once a small cohort of buffoons. Eh? Buffoons. Tautology, anti-vaxxer, idiots, and a small cohort of buffoons. What a gentleman. Sounds like a really, really lovely man. And you really deserve your position as one of the head people at West Australian. So on we go. It was a simpler time back then, folks, when anti-vaxxers were relatively rare and exclusively focused on keeping their children from being protected against preventable disease. So anti-vaxxers are focused on keeping their children protected against preventable disease. I'm not going to comment on that. I'll just move on. I know, it still doesn't make any sense. But with the rise of Rona, the proliferation of misinformation on social media saw an explosion in anti-vax sentiment, even though admittedly this segment of society is still not nearly as large as you'd think from the noise they make. So he's saying that there's not a lot of anti-vaxxers, and I'm not going to use that term now because he's referring to people who make a choice. So he's insinuating there really isn't many of us, but we do make a hell of a lot of noise. I do agree with the second part of that sentence, Ben, but I think there are many more of us than you would care to admit. Many more of us than you are paid to admit. Let's get that quite clear. For someone in my job, says Ben, however, who had the temerity to regularly suggest actual scientists know more about virology and let me start that again. For someone in my job, however, who had the temerity to regularly suggest actual scientists know more about virology and epidemiology than Wazza from Wangara, who just spent 15 minutes doing his own research, the dramatic increase in anti-vaxxers is plainly apparent. Is it now? Now, I like how you use that word temerity there, Ben. Did you get your thesaurus out for that? Now, temerity means confidence. So he's saying here, he's had the confidence to tell everybody and let everybody know in the articles and probably his podcast that he's been doing that it's actual scientists that know more about virology and epidemiology than Wazza from Wangara. Oh, Ben, you really do have a way with words, don't you? Right, so the dramatic increase in anti-vaxxers is plainly apparent. Well, didn't you just say that we were a small bunch? That's because they email. They email me. Do they email you, Ben? Do you get a lot of emails from anti-vaxxers? That's good to know they're keeping in touch. I'm glad to know that people are emailing you, and you're probably getting the attention that your narcissistic personality desires. And so here we go. While the vast majority of us are trying quite successfully to move on from the pandemic, and I'm certainly not writing about it anymore, dozens of anti-vaxxers emails continue to bombard the inbox of yours truly, and spoiler alert, they ain't getting any more intelligent as time goes on. I love it how you like to use words like tautology and temerity, but then we've really slipped into some sort of other vernacular here where you want to say that they ain't getting any more intelligent as time goes on. Ben, you've really let it go there. You want to pick it up, son. Ace it up a little bit, eh? As silly as the emails are, they have nothing on the bizarre anti-vax conspiracy theory that emerged in the US last week about NFL star Damar Hamlin. Now, this is this guy. Now, his story goes on here. His story, don't particularly care about. I don't know who that person is, and it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter because it's the language, the rhetoric, the narrative that BENO'SHEA is using here to continue with what the mainstream media page do. So I will take you on to the end of the article just to continue on with Ben's words. So the big social media platforms have allowed this kind of idiocy to fester. Worse, facilitated with algorithms that effectively radicalize innocent, albeit gullible, people. And so essentially what he's saying there is that the social media algorithms have allowed people to post their own opinions, videos, documented evidence, all sorts of things, which is radicalizing innocent, and in commas, albeit gullible people. So he's having a bit of a dig here at social media about allowing this cohort of buffoons to influence the algorithm with the nonsensical claims of anything associated with the COVID-19 shit show over the past 3 years. Before I finish that, we do have some comments here. Hi, Choosy, nice to see you back again. Right. Does he think he's important? Remember, you are here. Probably does think he's important. I do appreciate you guys online. I will just finish it off here. So, right. So he's having a bit of a dig at social media that they have allowed the cohort of buffoons, the anti-vaxxer dropkicks, to influence the algorithm and influence all of these gullible people about certain facts around this 3-year shit show. So let's finish this off. It was great to see the federal government get serious about the seedy world of dating apps this week. Now let's see them hold big tech to account for algorithmic brainwashing. Hey? Algorithmic brainwashing. I'm not sure that people who choose bodily autonomy over coercion are responsible for brainwashing. I think it might be one of the companies you work for, Ben. Perhaps. I don't know. What do you think? Let's finish it off. Because if they don't, there is growing evidence to suggest the truly abhorrent, lingering impact of the pandemic is not long COVID, but rather contagious stupidity. So there we have it, everybody. We are all victims or perpetrators of contagious stupidity. Now, why I'm having a bit of a piss take, but I actually got quite annoyed when I saw this article. Shouldn't let it get to me, but I did, because I know that mainstream media do this. Now, as I said, this story about the NFL player, it doesn't matter, because the majority of these people who are reading this article, or who just see the headline and they don't even read the article, they just see the headline, are getting brainwashed. Sorry, Ben. It's not the cohort of buffoons that are brainwashing people. It's this trash. So when people turn the paper over and they see a headline like this, you're just continuing, Ben, that narrative which is dividing our nation, which is dividing the world, even though there is continuing evidence that your badges, whether you're badged up to the eyeball, I don't know, but whether all of these badges are hurting and harming people, there is mounting evidence that they are. And these kind of articles, whether or not you care about this NFL player, whether or not you know who this person is not the point. The point is that mainstream media are paid to continue this narrative. And we can clearly see by these sorts of things, this is from today. This is the 29th of January 2023. They're still continuing with this because they're in damage control, because the evidence is mounting, people are talking, we have our communities, we're building our tribes, and you can't deny it anymore. So they need people like BENO'SHEA to write ridiculous articles like this and throw in terms like cohorts of buffoons, algorithmic brainwashing, idiocy. What was the other one at the front, which was one for, the tautology, anti-vaxxer idiot. What an absolute disgrace. What an absolute disgrace. We all know this is happening in mainstream media. And I just wanted to point out that even now they are in damage control. They need to put things like this in mainstream media, in the newspapers, on the internet. I don't watch TV, but I would dare say that there are things like this on mainstream TV as well, which they are continuing with this narrative and brandishing everybody as an anti-vaxxer who chose bodily autonomy, who refused to be coerced, and publishing trash like this. So what do we do about that? This is what I'm doing about it. I'm having a bit of a conversation about it. I've talked to a few people this afternoon about this. Actually, when I was leaving the cafe, this is a great little story. I was talking to one of my friends about this, and I was holding this in the air, and some kind gentleman was actually coming into the cafe to get himself some iced coffees because it was a rather hot day today. And he took one look at that and he heard what I was saying, and we got into a really good conversation about shit show, the lies and the bullshit. And it was fantabulous that just running into someone, me going out of a cafe and someone coming into the cafe, because I won't be quiet anymore. I don't care where I am. I don't care who is around. I will say what I think. And it was great to meet that gentleman today and to have the 5-minute exchange that we did. So that was fantastic as well. So what can we do? Talk to people. We need to talk to people. We need to communicate. We need to talk to people. And some people are at different stages at the moment. Sometimes you can't go whole hog, as a cohort of buffoons because people might switch off. Thanks, Ben, for that phrase. I'm going to start using that now, a cohort of buffoons. I quite like that actually, Ben. Thank you. But, sometimes we have to have smaller conversations with other people, but it is important because the mainstream media are continuing to peddle this kitty litter rubbish. And it's our responsibility to counteract that. That is our responsibility. So I implore you all to keep talking to your friends and family. Don't let mainstream media frighten you with these blanket terms of anti-vaxxer. Oh, I don't want to be brandished and ridiculed and all the rest of it. Don't let mainstream media frighten you. Continue talking to people. Hi, Effie. Hi, how are you going? I'm going to read Effie's comment. That's not an article sharing information, rather an opinion piece. Chockers full of insults, yes, and defamation of character towards certain demographic. Absolutely, Effie, couldn't agree more. Disgraceful. Yes, it is. And how BENO'SHEA goes to sleep every night, not sure about that, but I think he probably is quite proud of himself. And just looking at his Instagram page, because I did need to get some bio information about him, because in my world, he's a nobody. And I've never heard of him before. So I did want to know what he actually does with his life. So I did look at his profile on LinkedIn and Instagram. And yes, I think probably from the pictures on Instagram, he is a bit of a narcissist and a little bit of a disgraceful person. And he does probably sleep easily at night because perhaps he might be a sociopath. That's how sociopaths sleep at night, when they do awful, horrible things to people because they don't care. Okay, so let's read another couple of comments. Anybody got any questions about this? That'd be great. The last pinster, peeps are awaking, albeit very slowly. Yes, the meeting that I had today, we were talking about that. I'll put this down. I don't want to hold that filth up anymore. That will go in the bottom of my guinea pig's cage for them to trot around on and do their business. Yes, I was talking to my friends and colleagues today about people waking up and how painfully slow it can seem sometimes. But the point is that I certainly am not going to stop. It's too important. When I look at the children, it's our responsibility. Right. I'll just scroll up a little bit. Have a look here. I do appreciate the 13 of you watching. 13 is my lucky number. I was born on a Black Friday. Shine Island. I think I've missed your previous comment, so I'm not sure what you mean about wearing a mask. But yes. Yeah, so that is that article today. Usually I would do a video for something like this, but I do have a lot on this week with interviews and so forth. I did want to bring attention to this because it's filth, disgusting, and this just continues this just horrible narrative that we're fighting against. We're fighting against to get the truth out. Hi, Aaron. Big love. Yeah, and the other thing I might add today was a bit of an awful thing. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that 90% of my friends and family decided to stop talking to me on the 31st of January 2022. And I had another kick in the guts today when I saw a group of friends of mine all together for a very special occasion. And I would have been invited but wasn't. We can all take a guess why. But where we are now, certainly where I am, I need to take a step back, not be offended, and just keep moving forward. So if anybody has been going through that lately and still continues to go through that with family and friends of disassociating themselves from you, you're not alone. There are a lot of people still going through that, and it's really horrible. It's really horrible what this trash and what government and the elites have done to community, divide and conquer, and it's just awful. And this is why I had to do this live tonight. Remember, you are human. I appreciate you. I am not as strong as you. Thank you for everything you do. Hey, look, I bet you are. You just, I have no doubt you are stronger in other things that you do that probably I'm not so strong at. So never underestimate yourself. Never underestimate yourself, truly. Right. Yes, we are not alone. We are not alone. So, yes, if you see any trash like this in your local newspaper, just feel free to take it out. Put the rest of the paper in the bin. I failed to do that today. I should have actually just put the whole paper in the bin. That was my mistake. Sorry. But, take the appropriate article out. Put the rest of it in the bin or in, your kitty litter tray or under your guinea pigs hay area where they need to go to the toilet, so on and so forth. And show it to somebody and have a discussion about it because that's what we can do to just be together. inform people, probably not have great lengthy conversations with people that aren't part of our cohort of buffoons, but maybe they'll get there one day and will join us in our cohort of buffoons. I really do thank you, Ben, for that. I really do like that phrase, cohort of buffoons. I think I've just thought of the next event, cohort of buffoons. Thanks, Ben. Right, so I am going to sign off, just a short one to show you this article today, and to keep with your people, keep with your community, keep talking to each other, because that is our strength. And fear is the virus, and courage is the cure. I do appreciate you all watching. We have 16 people now, so thank you very much. Hi, Steve. Thank you, my fellow dropkick. I don't know. Do I prefer dropkick or being part of the cohort of buffoons? Not sure. I think I might have to, weigh those two over. Anyway, so thank you very much. I'm going to sign off. Going to go and clean up a small mess over there that has been created this afternoon by someone being creative, which is fabulous. And until my next video, I'm going to say bye.